Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. In Greek mythology, the centaur is a majestic creature. Half man, half horse. A perfect fusion of intelligence and horsepower. To us, it is a myth. But to an alien biologist observing Earth from orbit, a man riding a horse isn't a myth. It is the most logical evolutionary step for a dominant species. Why walk on two slow legs when you can evolve four fast ones? The aliens looked at our cowboys and saw the apex predator of Earth. But they didn't know about saddles. They didn't know about stirrups. And they certainly didn't know that the two halves could separate. Today's story is about the research vessel Darwin's Eye. They came to study the magnificent Earth centaurs. They admired their speed. They admired their grace. And then they watched a cowboy named Bill dismount to open a gate. To the aliens, this was not a simple action. It was a scene of horrifying biological self-destruction. This is the story of how the galaxy decided that humans are just too gross to interact with. If you have ever ridden a horse and didn't realize you were traumatizing an alien watcher, smash that like button. And if you want to see a xenobiologist vomit because of a simple trot, subscribe and ring the bell. Hold your horses. Hi, biologist Zyler hovered his stealth drone over the vast plains of Montana. Magnificent, Zyler whispered into his recorder. Simply magnificent. Look at the efficiency of the locomotion. On the screen, a cowboy named Bill was galloping across the field on his stallion, Thunder. To Zyler, they were one organism. Subject 84, Zyler noted. A hexapod, six-legged, vertebrate. The lower section provides speed and power. The upper section provides dexterity and tool usage. It is the perfect symbiotic evolution. The brain and the engine fused into one chassis. His assistant, Cadet Glip, looked at the monitor. Sir, observe the transition. The creature jumps over the fence. The upper torso absorbs the shock perfectly. The spinal column must be incredibly flexible to connect the humanoid vertical axis to the equine horizontal axis. Indeed, Zyler agreed. The connection point, the saddle region, appears to be made of a hardened leather-like callus. Likely a protective layer of skin to secure the fusion. They watched Bill rope a calf. Incredible. Zyler cheered. The upper half acts independently. It throws a web while the lower half navigates terrain. It is a multitasking marvel. Humans are not the dominant species. These things are. The ship followed Bill as he rode back to the barn. It is returning to its nest, Zyler said. Prepare the scanners. I want a full internal scan of the creature's digestive tract. I need to know how the food travels from the human mouth down to the horse stomach. That is a long esophagus. The plumbing must be a nightmare, Glip mused. Bill stopped the horse in front of the stable. Whoa boy, Bill said, patting Thunder's neck. Communication, Zyler noted. The upper brain speaks to the lower limbs verbally. Interesting. Most species use neural pathways. The centaur uses voice commands to its own legs. A fascinating evolutionary quirk. Then Bill prepared to dismount. He took his feet out of the stirrups. He grabbed the saddle horn. Activity detected, Glip warned. The creature is shifting its weight. Is it preparing to sleep? Watch closely, Cadet. We may see how it folds its legs. Bill swung his right leg over the horse's back. To the aliens, this looked impossible. Sir. Glip shrieked. His leg. His right leg. It is detaching. What? Zyler zoomed in. No. It is rotating 180 degrees. The bone structure cannot support that angle. Bill slid down the side of the horse. To the aliens, it looked like the upper torso was tearing itself free from the main body. Structural failure. Zyler screamed. The torso is shearing off. The connective tissue is snapping. Look at the horror. Bill's boots hit the dirt. He let go of the saddle. He stood there on two legs next to the horse. The aliens stared in silence. Their mouths hung open. Their skin turned a pale shade of violet. It split in half, Glip whispered, gagging. It ripped itself in half. And both halves are still alive. On the screen, Bill stretched his back. The top half is moving, Zyler reported, his voice shaking. It is walking on two stunted vestigial legs. It looks wobbly. It is incomplete. Like a parasite that has abandoned its host. And the bottom half? Glip asked, pointing at Thunder. Thunder stood there. He swished his tail. He started eating hay. The bottom half is vegetative, Zyler analyzed. It has no arms. No higher brain function. It just stands there waiting for the parasite to return. It is a tragic, headless engine. Then Bill did something worse. He reached up and uncinched the saddle. He pulled the saddle off the horse's back. The aliens didn't see a saddle. They saw a chunk of flesh. By the stars. Xyler vomited slightly in his mouth. He is peeling off his own skin. He removed the connection point. Look at the raw back of the beast underneath. It is sweaty. It is moist. Why is he doing this? Glip cried. Why would he dismantle himself? It must be a reproductive cycle, Xyler theorized grimly. Or a defense mechanism. Like a lizard dropping its tail. But, chunkier. Bill carried the saddle into the barn. He walked with a bow-legged gait, common for cowboys. Look at how the top half walks, Xyler noted with pity. His legs are bowed. Because they were molded around the rib cage of the lower beast. He is in pain. He is desperate to reconnect. The aliens watched for an hour. They expected the top half to die. They expected the bottom half to run wild. Instead, Bill came back out. He had an apple. He fed the apple to the horse. Cannibalism. Glip shouted. The top half is feeding the bottom half. It is trying to keep the chassis alive. Bill patted Thunder's nose. He kissed the horse's forehead. It is saying goodbye, Xyler wept. The separation must be permanent. The tragedy of the centaur. To be torn asunder by biology. But then Bill decided to go check the mail. He didn't want to walk. So he put the saddle back on. Sir. Glip alerted. He is returning. He is holding the connective tissue. He is going to reattach? Xyler watched through his fingers. Is that even possible? The nerve endings must be severed. Bill tightened the cinch. He is strapping it on. Xyler gagged. He is using belts to bind his flesh to the beast. Barbaric surgery. Bill put his foot in the stirrup. He swung his leg over. He sat down. Click. The two beings became one again. The centaur was whole. Bill trotted away. The aliens sat in their ship, traumatized. It is modular, Xyler whispered. They are Lego creatures. They can detach and reattach limbs at will. They can swap lower bodies. Today he wore a brown horse. Tomorrow? He could wear a black one. Or a striped one. Unlimited customization, Glip shuddered. But at what cost? The gore. The sweat. We must leave, Xyler decided. We cannot make contact with a species that treats its own body parts like accessories. It is unnatural. It is gross. Wait, sir, Glip said. Look. Another one. A man on a bicycle rode past the barn. The alien stared. A cyborg? Glip asked. Flesh top, metal wheels bottom? The cyclist stopped. He got off the bike. IT happened again. Xyler screamed. He disconnected from his wheels. He is carrying his lower body on his shoulder. Get us out of here. The Darwin's eye engaged its engines. It shot up into the stratosphere, leaving a sonic boom that spooked Thunder. Bill looked up. He saw the streak of light. Dang, Bill muttered, adjusting his hat. Shooting star in the middle of the day. Don't see that often. He patted his horse. Come on, Thunder. Let's get some beans. The Xylosian Empire marked Earth on their star maps with a warning icon, a broken heart. The entry reads, Species, human, the splitters, description, biological horrors capable of reversible mitosis. They routinely tear themselves in half to enter small dwellings, only to refuse with their quadrupedal lower halves for travel. Warning, do not shake hands. The arm might come off. Biologist Xyler retired. He now spends his time studying slime molds. Slime molds are simple. They don't have legs. They don't have saddles. And they definitely don't wear cowboy hats. And somewhere in Montana, Bill is still riding. A majestic, terrifying, modular centaur, unaware that he is the monster under the bed for an entire galaxy. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We think riding a horse is romantic. Aliens think it is body horror. Perspective is everything. If you have ever detached yourself from a vehicle, hit that like button. Comment below, if you could have any animal as your bottom half, what would it be? I choose a cheetah. Or maybe a really comfy sofa. Subscribe. And keep your limbs inside the vehicle at all times. Dismount complete.